Hi everybody and welcome to this coffee break webinar. Today we will focus on motivation and rewards and what impact motivation and rewards have on two typical goals in online collaboration programs. First, a high level of participation, and second, quality contributions. My name is Marc Monar. I'm Enterprise Innovation Consultant at Hype, which is the consulting, people and process part of the Hype organization. I guess everybody knows a situation like this. Your boss asks you to solve this complex issue that needs to be addressed urgently. You put a lot of effort into reaching the goal, and finally you solve the case just in time. You feel like a mountaineer that just made it to the summit cross and proudly present your achievements. But your boss and everybody else ignores your efforts. Think about this for a second. Isn't it quite a frustrating experience? Wouldn't it kill off your motivation? How happy would you be to do your boss another favor like this again very soon? Ignoring the performance of people is almost as bad as shredding their efforts in front of their eyes. If people's value is not acknowledged and nobody encourages them, when work gets difficult, they disengage. To successful and sustainable online collaboration approaches, disengagement means a massive threat. Okay. Ignoring people's efforts is bad, so let's tackle this topic to not demotivate and disengage the community. Let's create a climate of attention. A common way to express attentiveness are awards, such as Employee of the Month. It seems to make sense that when organizations recognize their workers with awards, they're likely to see a boost in motivation, and they get people to do what they want them to do in a habitual way. It's obvious. Awards are an inexpensive way to improve employees' performance. It turns out they're often not, especially when awards focus on behaviors that are basic parts of the job. For example, evaluators get a reward for reviewing ideas. Nothing is more demotivating than seeing colleagues get rewarded for doing their job. Rewarding employees for good behavior can actually backfire, leading to a drop in motivation and performance. Behaviors only change when people are eligible for the award. And more significantly, your best employees who previously exhibit the behaviors you are now awarding end up suffering a performance decrease. Rewarding one behavior can crowd out intrinsic motivation in another. Okay, we shouldn't ignore people's efforts, and we're careful with handing out awards. How about we make sure to recognize only those that go above and beyond the call of duty, and by doing this, motivate all others to follow their example? How about we hold up an additional promise of money to motivate and reward people showing the behaviors that we need to run a successful collaboration program? If we look around, we see it is common to reward top performers. And studies show that, on average, individual financial incentives increase employee performance by 40 to 50%. Indeed, money or the trip to the Bahamas sound like a nice thing to put in, but it also changes the psychological mindset people have. These extrinsic motivators are strong, but they're terrible for creative and conceptual tasks. In online collaboration, you require a looking around, broader way of thinking attitude. But money distracts people. They respond very strongly to monetary incentives and develop a laser beam focus. If I tell you, I want you to come up with a creative idea, and if you do, I give you 10,000 euros. I get your attention. But then you focus this attention to the 10,000 euros. And worse, money doesn't necessarily motivate people to do the right things. The mentioned performance gains come at a cost in the form of an awful lot of unintended consequences. What do financial incentives mean for unethical behavior? Cheating, overstating performance. It seems cooking the books has become the norm at many companies. Unethical behavior is especially likely when employees fall just short of their goals. Jealousy. Now why is this person getting the money and I don't? Jealousy has a negative effect on participation rates and intensity of collaboration, elements we rely on in online collaboration initiatives. Intrinsic interest in the work. Our intrinsic interest in a task can be overshadowed by strong incentives. So why is it so difficult to motivate and reward people? Well, that's because intuitively one would think that extrinsic motivation like a higher pay should produce better results. But scientific evidence indicates that the link between compensation, motivation and performance is much more complex. Once you get above rudimentary cognitive skill, rewards don't work. Instead, a larger reward leads to poorer performance. This finding has been replicated over and over again for decades. However, at the same time, it is one of the most ignored. The question is, why does business focus so much on external and not on intrinsic motivation? Well, first because that's how we've always done it, and they do work when you look for performance that does not require cognitive skills. Second, they're easy. Intrinsic motivation is much more difficult. And third, the importance of intrinsic motivation is heavily underestimated, which leads us to a short list on how do we motivate the right way to reach our pre-given goals. Assuming the basics are met, including a sufficient level of pay, working conditions, and job security. Without these, even the best will yield undesired performance results. Seeing peers participating is a strong factor that only few people can resist. Most people like to be involved in a sense of community, belongingness, and being valued by others. This is why collaboration programs that excel put seed content into their campaigns. They run an advocate program, and they care about active community management. Opportunity to contribute. People want to make a difference and to do something that matters, that has purpose. The importance of meaning is underestimated. Strategically align your initiatives. Prepare your campaigns well, including a description on how people can contribute. Chance to help out. People are motivated when they can help others. Think of making a campaign personal. Ask your audience explicitly for help. Create a climate of attention. Recognize people's efforts. This is why it is worth it to put focus on feedback and communication. A thank you can be very powerful. Making progress. It is important to have process rigid and again well-prepared feedback and communication measures. Success stories are powerful in this regard. And the best about these tips are these mechanisms are for free. There are no investments and more benefits or compensation necessary. This leads me to two takeaways for today. Don't replace intrinsic motivators with extrinsic ones, and treat people like people. We're all human and not horses. Thanks for spending your coffee break with me. Let me know should you have any questions, feedback, or comments. Look out for more coffee breakers to come soon.